Hey guys, I just wanted to check in with you all and just share a brief testimony with you guys. And um, I'll just start out by saying I truly, truly am so grateful to God for His healing power, for Him delivering me from so many different spirits that kept me bound and stuck. So I was actually talking to a single dad this week, and he expressed to me all of the challenges that he's experiencing with his children's mother. And while he was talking, I can tell his emotions were, getting elevated. And I can also tell that he was, really hurt by everything, and how the single mother or the other parent isn't supporting him financially. The other single parent isn't really helping him at all with other things that the children need. I can tell that his emotions were getting elevated, and he just started to go on a rant about all the things that he is trying to accomplish, but he is experiencing some pushback from the other parent. And I was able to empathize with him because I completely understand separation, divorce, that gets really messy. Both of the parents are hurt in the process, and then the child, they're hurt too. So I definitely was able to empathize with him. And I too have experienced situations where I felt like I didn't get the support that I needed. However, let me tell you about the goodness of God, though. So every single time I felt that I didn't get the support that I needed, I gave it over to God. Every time I experienced some type of setback or some type of hardship, God has always showed up and showed out. Now, need I remind you, my divorce, it was so traumatizing. It affected me mentally, emotionally, and physically. And so I understood where the parent and how angry he was and how hurt he was. He even made comments such as he's a vengeful person and he's going to do whatever he can to make sure that person, experience what he's experiencing. And so that's one thing I wanted to mention, that God is so amazing and so great. And he also said that vengeance, it belongs to him. So where I had emotions and feelings of vengeance and anger and hurt and resentment, but I gave all those feelings and emotions over to God. I didn't want those feelings. I didn't want those emotions. I literally cried out to God and asked him to deliver me from anger, deliver me from vengeance, deliver me from resentment, deliver me from any spirit that keeps me bound, that keeps me in this state of hatred towards my son's father. God loves my son's father. He loves his soul. So who am I to be out here hating him? And if you over here hating somebody, that's not the love of God at all. If you're not forgiving them, that is not the love of God. And I definitely want the love of God to shine in me and through me. So I noticed that this parent just was so angry. And I said, vengeance belongs to God. He said, I don't believe in God. I'm like, well, you better believe that vengeance belongs to someone else other than you, because you're not going to have any peace if you keep trying to be vengeful towards the other parent. So then I explained, like, look, if you keep going down this path, you're not going to have any peace. You're not going to be able to move on. I told him I experienced very, very similar things like you. But I want peace in my life. I have to have peace in my life. How can I be a proper parent? How can I be a loving parent if I have vengeance and hatred in my heart? How can I? It would be very hard for me. People may say, like, well, I hate the daddy, or I hate the mama, but I still love my kids. But how could you love them properly? You know what I mean? How could you love them unconditionally, truly, and properly if you are harboring hate in your heart, right? It may not be hate towards your child. It may not be hate towards someone else, but there's hate there. You cannot properly love if you have hate in your heart, if you don't have forgiveness in you. So I just want to give God all the glory for truly showing me myself and showing me what was in my heart. Unforgiveness was in my heart. And so that is why I had a hard time enduring certain challenges, and I had a hard time healing because I still did not, at that time, I still didn't forgive my son's father. But again, God really began to work through me because I truly desired healing and deliverance from any negative sinful spirit, right? And so while on this healing journey, God really revealed himself to me and was teaching me and showing me about forgiveness, teaching me and showing me accountability. A lot of people don't know what accountability is. So let me tell you what accountability is. Accountability, in layman's terms, basically means you are taking responsibility for your actions. And so I didn't want to be accountable for my actions. That's why I had a hard time moving forward. That's why I had a hard time, just overcoming certain internal issues. It was my fault. I chose to lay down with someone who I know wasn't a part of God's will or plan in my life. I know that for sure. I know that for certain within myself. He wasn't a part of God's perfect will for my life. Because if he was, I believe we'll still be together. And we're not. So, and I think that's what we all have to really come to recognize, that accountability. Accountability is so key to truly growing and healing. This is when you can start to learn how to forgive yourself. Like, yes, I made this decision. It was my choice. It wasn't a strong choice. It wasn't a strong decision. It wasn't the right decision. It wasn't the right choice. I did it out of the will of God. And yeah, I did it. This is part of my fault. I messed up. I made a mistake, but guess what? You're supposed to learn from your mistakes. And I believe God showed me so many different avenues of how I can go about making the right decision moving forward. And first, that requires me to give my all and my heart to God. If you're not giving your all or giving your heart over to God, then you're going to have some struggles, right? So for me, that required me giving my all to God, really, truly saying, Lord, I give my all to you. So once I did that and I was open to God's instruction, sometimes God can use other people, other situations, other experiences to instruct you on how to make better decisions for your life. And I was open. I was surrendering to the voice of God. I was surrendering to whatever instructions that he wanted to give to me so that I can improve, so that I can heal, so that I can learn how to forgive. And so I put myself in a position, I placed my heart in a position to be open to his instruction, to be obedient to his instructions. And yes, I had to endure a lot of pain. I had to endure a lot of emotional sufferings, but it was definitely worth it, because where I am today and where I am right now, I couldn't do it without God. I couldn't do it without surrendering my heart and obeying his voice completely. Another component of surrendering your all and open up your heart to God's instruction is not half-stepping. You can't be out here practicing sin, doing all types of things, fornicating, drinking, masturbating. You can't be out here lying, stealing, deceiving people. You can't be out here flirting people, fulfilling the lust of your flesh. You cannot be out here doing all these things and expect God to really, truly cleanse and purge your heart from unforgiveness, from hate, from resentment. You can't be out here half-stepping. You really, really have to strive to be like Jesus. You really have to strive to walk right and live right. And that requires letting go of things of the world, loving not the world and the things that's in it. It does require true sacrifice and discipline of things that are sinful and things that are worldly. It also may require you to seek professional counseling. Sometimes some situations have been so traumatic and so severe that it's going to take more than the power of God to really truly turn your life around for the better, to truly have an emotional breakthrough. I sought counseling also post my divorce. and when I had my son, because I went through a lot of trauma, guys. I had like postpartum depression. I had like divorce depression, divorce trauma, separation trauma. I had homelessness trauma. I had instability trauma. I had like insecurity trauma. I had so many problems going on. And so not only did God help me, but he led and guided me to communicating with therapists, to communicating with other like-minded people who are also striving for improvement in their lives. I encourage you, I push you, I urge you to truly ask God for deliverance from anything that's keeping you stuck and bound in sin, that's keeping you stuck and bound in unforgiveness. Because how can you truly, properly love anyone, especially yourself, especially your children, when you have hatred and unforgiveness and vengeance and other negative things festering in your heart? It's nearly impossible. I love my son with all of me. And because I love my son so much, I desperately ask God to truly heal me so I can love him properly, so I can take care of him properly, so I can teach him love, so I can teach him forgiveness, so I can teach him to call on God whenever he feels hurt or whenever he feels pain. So I encourage you to do the same. Thank you. I adore you, and have a wonderful day.